So, what year were you born in?
September the 5th, 1935.
Mm-hmm. That's a long time ago.
Tell me. So what else is new?
I don't even, sorry.
I get to thinking about how, golly, that is old.
It's a long time.
That's a long
No,
time.
it's a
Long
long time.
time.
It's born
Okay.
Where were you born?
I was born on a farm in Lake Creek, Texas.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Is that around here, closer to here, or where is?
No, up in
really
northeast
far out?
Texas.
Okay.
Like
Yep.
Tyler,
Up near
between
the,
Dallas and Tyler.
no, it's up near the Oklahoma border.
Oh, okay.
North of,
Yeah, north of
Way up there.
Tyler, way up there.
Okay. So, what were your parents' names?
My mother's name was Eugenia Mabel.
Eugenia? How do you spell Eugenia?
Eugenia, Mabel. James, Jeter.
Jeter.
Well, it was James Jeter. Her maiden name was James. And Jeter. No, Jeter.
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 Yeah,
Okay.
James
Sorry.
was something
yeah,
else.
that was her uncle. That was her mother's name, Ma James.
Mm.
And then Benjamin Lycurgus Anderson.
Wow.
Benjamin
Mm-hmm.
I
Lycurgus.
still have a little milk.
You still have a little milk.
Lycurgus.
Lycurgus
Mm.
Anderson.
So you lived in
That's very, very light.
up in North Texas.
Yes.
What town was that?
That was in Lake Creek.
Lake Creek. So where did you go to school?
My first year,
Mhm.
I went to a little one-room schoolhouse for 5 grades in Lake Creek.
Okay.
And I walked to school every day.
Yeah.
What grade did you start in?
First,
First grade. How old were you in first grade?
I was 5, but I turned 6 on the 5th of September.
That's young.
Yeah, I know it.
So that was before kindergarten.
That was like me. I started when I was really young, but then I didn't. I went back.
I never went back. That's why I graduated when I was 17.
Mm, yeah. So you lived on a farm. So you
For
would,
9 years.
What did you farm, your family?
Cotton, corn.
So they would that was their job. They would farm.
And then my daddy,
Mhm.
was a part-time mail, had a mail carrier.
Okay.
He had a mail route. And he had a Model A
Oh really?
Ford that would take him down, because his route took him down, way down. We called them the sticks.
Mhm.
I mean, it was dirt ground and, dirt roads. And sometimes, 2 or 3 different times, he let me go with him. I loved going
That'd
with
be
him.
fun.
That was after he got a Jeep.
Mm-hmm.
And that was in later years after we had moved down to because and it got so bad sometime down there, he had to hire somebody to continue on by horseback.
Ah, because you
mail.
couldn't get down. That's cool.
So he started out as a substitute, but then he became the mail carrier.
That's cool.
And he carried the mail for about 15 years, I guess.
Wow.
And he lost his job then to a GI that came home from the war.
Yeah. That's really cool. I didn't know that.
And the first day that the World War II was announced, I was in the first grade, and we heard it on a radio
Really?
in that little one
Wow.
room. One time, my cousin lived. Here was the school over here, and here was a dirt road that went all the way down back over to here, and I lived right here.
Yeah.
And my cousin lived back over here.
Yeah.
And so one day, instead of stopping by my house, I just went on over to his house.
Uh-huh.
The only time I really got in trouble in school was, bad trouble, and I got my hand slapped with a ruler.
I would have just felt awful.
I did.
I got a frowny face once, and I just cried because that was about as far as my school would punish people. I mean, they sent to the principal's office.
And then when I was, we moved to another farm that was about, it was in the Cooper school district then, and so the second grade and just the first part of the third grade, I went to Cooper and had to get on a bus early in the morning and not get home till late in the afternoon. So that was where I spent second grade.
So you took a bus instead of walking?
But I was probably about 8 miles away. No, more than that. I know it took a long time.
Yeah.
Because the speed limit was 30.
Oh.
And the reason that the speed limit was 30 is because tires were rationed.
Ah.
And
So
so
you didn't want to wear them out?
you couldn't get new tires for your cars.
Wow.
So
That was during the war that they rationed?
yeah. And we had rationing for sugar and beef, any kind of meats. I don't think flour was rationed, but sugar was. And Mother always had a garden, so we always had fresh vegetables.
Yeah.
And she and my Aunt Nina canned every summer.
Yeah.
So we had
Fresh.
canned stuff all winter long.
Did you like learning? Did you like going to school?
Yeah, I didn't like second grade. I was very lonely. We lived way out there, and my nearest house was a mile away. And I didn't have but one or two friends at all, because I was considered just, I rode the bus, and so I was a country girl.
Oh, yeah,
Country bumpkin. And then, when I was 9, we moved down into the village of Lake Creek. And my daddy was full-time mail carrier.
Yeah.
They told us we had to get off the farm that we were on. He was farming on the halves. That meant he would divide up half of what he had made. So he didn't have a real good year, so we were fired, so to speak. And by then, though, Dad had enough money for us to buy this house in the village that had it had indoor plumbing.
Ooh. So you didn't have indoor plumbing before then?
No, no. We went outside to the privy.
Wow.
Or on what was called a slop jar. It's terrible.
That's terrible.
But when we lived on the farm, I remember I had chronic throat problems, and when I was in second grade, I had to have a my tonsils taken out. And because I remember being sick and having to, we had one of those country houses that had a dog run in the middle, and there was a bedroom over here and a dog room and a room here that was kind of like a sleeping living room. No. Yeah, it was kind of living room. And then the middle part was where my mother and Dad slept, and then the kitchen area, and we pretty well lived in the kitchen in the winter because that was the only room in the house that was heated.
Yeah, with the stove.
And it got cold up in that area. And in the mother, when BG, he was 5 years younger than me, and I had to babysit him. I was 7 years old, and he was 2, 18 months or so. And when Mother would pick cotton all day and kind of made a little tent out of a little tent for he and I to stay under, and I kind of took care of him during the
Yeah.
day.
How many brothers and sisters did you have?
Well, my sister, Aunt Gwen,
Mhm.
she was 16 years older than me.
Okay.
And my brother, Jakey, Uncle Jakey, he was, did you know him?
I don't
I
know.
don't think they knew him.
I don't think so.
And they knew him, but they were little.
I probably don't remember.
And he was 13 years older than me. And then I was 5 years older than my
Oh.
brother.
Oh,
So I
Maybe
had,
met
three.
him.
there were two and
Few
two.
times.
Uh-huh. 2 boys and 2 girls.
Well, when we went over to Aunt Gwen's, probably would have seen him over there.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have.
You wouldn't have come
We only
down here
came-
except at Christmas.
We only
or-
came once a year when I was little, and
Yeah, I know.
I don't really remember that much. Because I was just, came here and it was just a part
Playing
of
with
my
your
summer.
cousins.
I know, I just played. That's all I remember. Because I think as a kid you don't remember like all the people. You just remember the play and the food or something. So we did that. So your mom stayed home and she would
She
help with the
helped with
farming
the
and she
farming.
would.
And my daddy would carry the mail in the mornings. He
Mhm.
got up very, very early. And he would get back around 2:30.
Mhm.
And then he would plow or work in the fields till sundown.
Mhm.
And that was what our life, it was
Yeah.
hard. It was
Yeah.
a hard life.
Yeah.
And we were poor.
Because of the farming, it wasn't.
And we didn't have electricity, but Dad had a Delco battery that we
Mhm.
had lights from.
Oh, so you had a battery and you plug in and you got
Yeah,
lights
for
in
the
your
whole,
house?
for the whole.
Wow. That's cool.
And so, but where I was, the first 5 years of my life, we didn't have any electricity.
Wow. I can't
I
imagine
remember
having
the
electricity.
Huh?
I used
the one
to.
night.
Oh yeah, but I didn't even do that because we ended up. I tried to camp outside, and then as soon as it turned dark.
Y'all didn't have any electricity during Ike.
Oh, that's true. I know when I was little, we
Really?
used to have lots of snowstorms, and we would not have electricity. But
Usually about a day.
yeah,
day
it
and a
wasn't
half.
that bad.
Just
Yes,
recently, back in the spring, I think, my electricity went off. And so I got out my candles and I got out, because I've got a lot of lamps, and they've all got, I keep oil in all of them. So I got out my lamps and I thought, well, I'm just going to go to bed. So I fixed my lamp and was going to read by my bed. And so I got ready for bed, and I was just fixing to get into bed, and electricity came.
And you're like, oh well,
And-
that's no fun.
And I was kind of disappointed that it had come on, because it had been
kinda
off all
fun.
that time that I needed to do
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
Um,
That's good. What did you do for fun? Did you do any, or did you work, or?
I played by myself. I created mud pie.
Mm-hmm.
I played, because see, the area where we lived was black land, and it would make, I'd make little doll furniture,
Mm-hmm.
and everywhere I went, I made a playhouse,
Mm-hmm.
and I played dolls.
That's fun.
Made furniture out of the mud.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
And
'Cause
let
it was
it
hard.
dry,
Yeah.
Made little tiny utensils.
Wow.
Yeah, it was kind of neat.
Yeah, it's fun. It's like clay.
And my Christmases were really very, like I can remember getting a bag, my stocking that had an apple and an orange and maybe a couple of 3 nuts in it.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe a candy cane. And for Christmas, I would get maybe a coloring book and some new colors. That was always very special.
Yeah,
And that would be it.
yeah.
And one year when I was 8, my Uncle Charlie sent me a little toy refrigerator.
Oh, fun.
And oh, that was so special. And I think that year I got a doll
Yeah.
in that little refrigerator. So
That's
that was
fun.
kind of a special
Yeah,
Christmas.
we're really spoiled with all of our.
Did
Oh,
you make like a rag doll or
Things.
something out of fabric or?
Well, Mother made most of my dolls, but then, and then when I became, let's see, when I was 8 or 9, then they bought me this chubby, Aunt Nina had one just like it, and this little chubby doll, and it was the same size of a baby. And I always played dolls.
Mhm.
I played dolls till I was 14.
Mhm. Well, you still like dolls.
Uh-huh.
I think people still like the things they like when they were
Yeah,
young.
yeah.
When I interviewed my Nana, and she still liked all the same things.
She didn't play with dolls.
She did, well, she played with dolls, but she liked crafts. Even as a kid, she liked to make cards. She liked to make things on their sewing machine, and that's what she did. And she still does that, so it's really amazing that we're the same people
I loved color.
throughout our lives.
I
Yeah.
colored by the hour, and
Mhm.
all my color books were beautiful. Because
Yeah.
I can remember not ever putting, I was really a jealous child
Mhm.
because my little brother came along and he was like an insect.
Mhm.
And I was really jealous of him because I didn't know he was coming.
Mhm.
I was 5 years old,
Mhm.
and I had a big, it was an iron baby bed,
Mhm.
which was almost the size of a youth bed. So I slept in that baby bed even when I was 5.
Mhm.
And then one day I got moved to the front room, and this little person took my bed.
Yeah,
So
I had to go to the front room.
I wasn't.
Oh, yeah.
I wasn't prepared for him.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't imagine having another sibling.
So
B-
anyhow,
rock.
this I remembered never ever putting. I put red with blue and yellow with green.
Mhm.
You never put red with pink or anything like that. You always put red with blue and yellow with green.
And that's everything you colored was.
I know it. And I colored. I was always coloring it within the lines. Then when I got a little bit bigger, like 9, played jacks a lot.
Mhm.
A lot. And I had all those paper dolls, which I've got still.
Yeah, paper dolls are fun. They're really- So you
I
went,
don't know who wants my paper dolls. I thought I'm going to start giving stuff away, so y'all have to tell me what you want.
so you went to the school. What school did you go to till high school?
Okay. Then when I moved down to the village, then we went to a consolidated school called Delmar.
Mm-hmm.
And it was in between Delta County and Lamar County. And we had to ride buses.
Yeah.
And the first one, it was a country school, and we had wooden walks.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember how muddy it was. And we always had chapel on Friday mornings.
So was it like a bigger school or?
It was 12 grades, yeah. No kindergarten at that time.
Yeah.
And so I went to Delmar High School till I was a sophomore.
Mm-hmm.
And there were 46 in my class, and I was class favorite, and I had a boyfriend, and I had wonderful girlfriends. And then we moved down here when I was 15.
Yeah.
And we moved into Brazosport High School, and there was 177 in my class.
And that was a big shock for you to have all
Yeah,
these
well,
people.
You owned it, man. By the time you left there, they all loved you. You
Oh
did a good
yeah,
job.
at first I was a very insecure person, and actually y'all can't see this in me, I guess, but I was very shy.
Because you were unsure of.
Yeah, very insecure.
Well, you didn't have a lot of practice socializing.
Right.
Well,
Once you
the
got it,
first
you were-
almost 9 years of my life, I lived in a pretend world.
Yeah.
Except in school, I had no relationship with
Yeah.
her. Like all summer long, I didn't have any kind of relationship.
Maybe once
Right.
you watched the other girls, and once you got to school, you saw what they did and you just did it too, and then you got to be good at it.
Talking to people and
Well, and I'm kind of like you are. Once I got acquainted with somebody, then I talked all the time.
yeah, you just had to break the ice.
Yeah,
That's a hard skill to learn.
yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
So, what do you have anything that you like wanted to do with your life, or
I wanted to be a school teacher.
you wanted to be a teacher?
I wanted to teach music,
Mm-hmm.
because music was part of my life ever since I can remember.
Yeah.
And when I was in grade school and through the high school, sophomore, I went to Del Mar, the half of my high school, sophomore year, down, up there. Then we moved here in December, so I started school then the next semester here. And I was very shy, and every night I dreamed of walking down the hall and everybody being so glad to see me, at Del Mar. I dreamed that every night.
Really?
And finally, I was in third period choir, and one day, John McGee, my choir director, brought me in, and I'd auditioned, and I had always sung alto
Mm-hmm.
because I could read music and I could harmonize.
Yeah.
And when I came down here and auditioned,
Mm-hmm.
then he put me as first soprano
Mm-hmm.
in the a cappella choir.
Yeah.
And that was the starting of my salvation,
Mhm.
because it was, that was the breaking, and that's when I made so many relationships
Mm-hmm.
in a cappella choir.
Yeah.
Acapella choir was so great. I loved it.
It was.
Mr. McGee was so great. He taught me acapella choir.
Oh, he impacted just hundreds and hundreds of young people.
Mm.
And I got to come in I had been in school maybe 2 weeks when I got into the a cappella choir.
Really? So you?
And so they were going on a spring trip,
Mm-hmm.
and all the music had to be memorized because
Mhm.
you sang everything a cappella, the whole
Right,
concert.
right.
And it was so difficult for me to memorize.
Right. You had to memorize all of it for the.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
And so I faked a lot of it.
Yeah. I don't even know how to read. I'm learning how to read music, and I haven't even started yet, but it's really,
So then my
Amazing.
sophomore, junior, and senior years, then I went to Brazosport.
yeah. And so you got more used to it, and
Oh, yeah. And I was thinking about this the other day, and I thought, I always thought I was stupid. I was ninth in my class.
wow,
Max
Out
was
of 170.
77.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's like just an idea you have of yourself.
Yeah, I never had a good image of myself.
Mhm.
I have a better image of myself now than I ever did when
Yeah.
I was younger.
Yeah.
But I know who I am in Christ.
Right, that
And
helps.
so,
That does help. So you wanted to be a music teacher.
mhm.
Did you ever go to college?
No.
No.
I was already enrolled in North Texas State
Mhm.
in Denton,
Mm-hmm.
and I was going to study music.
Mm.
And I met Jimmy Royalty in January
Mm-hmm.
of my senior year.
Mm-hmm.
And in February, after 6 weeks, he asked me to marry him.
That old man.
And he gave me, it was a really pretty solitaire ring. It was a half carat. It was really pretty. Just plain little 1 carat, 1 ring. So I was showing it off to my math teacher,
Mm-hmm.
algebra teacher, plain geometry teacher. And he said, well, who's the lucky man? And I said, Jimmy Royalty. And he said, who, that old man?
a young adult. I mean,
Dad, Papa was 26.
26.
Wow.
He was an old man.
Yeah.
He was. And so while we were in school, I said, well, he's just 8 years, 8 months, and 3 days older than me. But after I just got to where I said 9 years older than me.
So you're like, well, he's only 8 years. That's funny. So you
So I married him in September after I graduated from high school, so I never went to college.
yeah. And then, what did Papa do for a living?
He was a welder
Mm-hmm.
at his daddy's machine shop.
Mm-hmm.
He had worked in the machine shop, and he knew how to be a machinist,
Mhm.
and he was also a German welder.
Mm. So he what is being a welder? You put things together?
And weld them,
Yeah, welder, yeah.
With heat,
Yeah, with
you melt
heat,
them,
and meld them together.
Mm.
melt the metal, and then you have this little stick that melts, helps
Mhm.
it melt together, and it just melts it, and then when
Yeah.
it dries, it's
Yeah. So you're used to
solid.
And
a lot of things.
he was a top-notch welder. His seams were just perfect.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, didn't have squigglies or anything. He could just put a perfect seam
Mm-hmm.
that wouldn't come apart. But anyhow, he was with Papa
Mm-hmm.
at the Royalty Machine Works.
Mm-hmm.
And I could see where he was not going to advance very much. And we were living off of $85 a week
Mm.
and paying we moved into a little one-bedroom, well, it was a one-room apartment that had a
Wow.
little kitchen off of it,
Mm-hmm.
and then a nice walk-in closet that you walk through to go to the bathroom. So our first purchase was a hide-a-bed.
Mm-hmm.
And then my brother had found a chest at the dump.
Mm-hmm.
And so we had that as to put our clothes in. And we slept on the hide-a-bed.
Mm-hmm.
But this is funny. Before we had started going together, he bought a lot at 2002 North Avenue G. And from Mr. Travis. And so when he never really asked me to marry him. I don't even remember the marrying, but he asked me if I'd help him build his house. So I guess I assumed that he meant get married.
Yeah. That's fun.
So when he gave me the ring, then that was
You're
pretty.
like, oh,
pretty
okay.
much.
Good. Yeah. So you did that, and so when did Papa start his own business?
Okay, he finally. I talked him into going someplace else to work so he could make more money. So he went to work for Dow Chemical
Mm-hmm.
as a machinist.
Mm-hmm.
He took the test and went to work right into the machinist. Not a helper, but a
Yeah,
full
yeah.
blood.
Yeah.
And so he worked at that until Dow, well, before he did that, he started working for Austin Company.
Mm-hmm.
And Austin Company they had called flesh peddlers. And he went into expediting for the Austin Company, which they would work in an office and they'd expedite things that purchasing, yeah, which was a stepping stone for his business. So he was a welder,
Yeah.
he was a machinist,
Mm-hmm.
and he had worked as an expediter.
Yeah.
And then they had that came through the late 50s,
Mm-hmm.
and that was when the recession hit.
Right.
And so he knew that he was going to be losing his job because he knew he was at the bottom of the pole, so to
Right.
speak. And Papa had this guy that had delivered welding supplies that he was going out of business and had a route.
Mm-hmm.
And so Papa funded Jimmy to go into this business.
Mm.
We spent all of our savings that we had put up. I don't even know how we saved anything. But we had enough money for him to outrig this truck
Mm.
for welding supplies.
Yeah.
And that was in 1958.
Mm-hmm.
And right after he got everything, Rhonda was already here. I was pregnant
Mm-hmm.
with John.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't have any insurance because Papa didn't believe in insurance.
Paying somebody else money for nothing.
That's right. And so we didn't have any insurance, and John came just like that. We were married almost over 3 years when Rhonda came.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought I wasn't going to get pregnant. So, but I got pregnant just like
Yeah.
that with John. And I had the mumps when Rhonda was, she was a year old, 12 months old. And she was 10 months old. And then Jimmy got mumps.
Mm.
And the doctor had told him, be careful, don't do anything. And he just decided he was feeling better.
Mm-hmm.
So he went down to the office and was just going to do some book work.
Mm-hmm.
And that night he got deathly sick, and they had gone down on him. And he was very, 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 very sick.
Wow.
So, and then he had the mumps, so he had to hire somebody to do the route.
Mm-hmm.
Well, back up. He had just gotten his truck and everything fixed.
Yeah.
And a lady without any insurance hit him
Oh.
and damaged the big truck.
Oh, wow. Wow.
And then we had the bumps.
Yeah.
And then he went, all going into business. I had a baby. I was pregnant, had mumps, had the car wrecked, I mean, it was,
Yeah.
I don't know why I wasn't crazy.
Yeah. I know. That's a lot. And it rains, it pours.
And I didn't have the kind of faith that I have now.
Yeah. I don't know what I would do if I didn't have Jesus. So,
So that's how he started the business.
and then it just grew from that.
Oh, yeah, he worked 24/7 almost. No, he did work about 12 or 15 hours a day.
Mm.
And then we did book work on Sunday afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
See, I don't like work that much.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, he
He
does.
doesn't work as much as his
Just
dad.
feels like it.
Yeah,
I
he
worked
does.
11 hours 2 times this week, and then 10 and a half, then 9 and a half. Which is a lot.
It seems like a lot.
But you got off today where a lot of people don't.
Yes.
get off.
We get to
They have to
enjoy
work all
daddy
day
Yeah.
on Saturday.
Would you just leave town?
I brought it home
So,
with me.
you know what, you just can't
You
Oh,
always bring it
have
home,
me.
but you don't do it.
So are you gonna do some more tomorrow or tonight?
Yeah, if I get around to
He's gotta mow the yard, cause he won't pay somebody to do it.
So you moved to Lake Jackson with your family
In
Freeport.
December, yeah, I moved to, no, I didn't, I moved
to
to,
Lake Jackson?
moved to Velasco.
Oh. Where's that?
Pre-Freeport.
Okay, here's the river,
Uh-huh.
here was Freeport, and here was Velasco.
Okay.
And Velasco was the first capital of Texas.
Oh. Wow.
That's where, yeah, for a day. That's where on the little plaque thing, so
Mm.
that picture,
Mm-hmm.
that's where Stephen F. Austin landed with his
Oh.
colonists,
Mm.
right in the Velasco area.
Wow.
And the very first Velasco was out on Surfside, 100
Yeah.
years ago. The 1900 storm destroyed a 100-room hotel.
Wow.
And that's where that really pretty table in there
Mhm.
in between the two
Yeah.
green chairs, that came from that hotel.
Wow. That's very historical.
And then my living room, my bath, dining room suite came down the Intercoastal Canal before 1900.
Wow. Oh,
Uh-huh. It was Jimmy's great-grandfather's.
wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Okay, now let's see. What
see.
was that question you asked me?
I don't remember where we came from. I've passed up my notes.
Okay, we came to
we
Velasco.
I was asking you when you came to Lake Jackson.
Well, I didn't move to Lake Jackson until I've been in this house 20 years, and I was over there 31 years.
Mhm.
We were in Freeport 28 years.
Okay.
That's how I met
Okay.
Daddy, is because they moved to Lake Jackson.
Okay.
And he lived down the street.
On Catalpa.
The old Tigers.
Yeah, we went past there.
I would never
Okay.
have met him.
Yes, it just all worked out.
Oh, we loved it.
Your dog would have never had that much exercise.
I thought that Jimmy, yeah, yeah. I thought Jimmy would never, ever move from Velasco.
Yeah.
And so, and I was coming out here, bringing him to Christian
Mhm.
school. So you were in the
He was
6th grade
Yeah.
and 7th.
I think we
Okay.
moved the summer after 7th.
Yeah, because I had brought you here 2 years,
I think so.
back and forth.
Wow.
And so that's when we moved. So 31 years ago, we moved
Yeah.
to,
Cool.
yeah.
I never think of you living anywhere else but here, so that's fine. Cause
Have you ever been by my Freeport house?
Yeah,
maybe.
I don't think she
I don't
has.
know.
I think she has when she was little, when we went down to Royalty Welding, we'd
Yeah.
always drive
We
by.
did. When I was really little, I remember going past Royalty Welding, and we saw it, but I don't remember it very well. I remember being in the car, and I was really tired.
When Mimi moved to Lake Jackson, it was like moving to Beverly Hills.
Oh my gosh, it was awful. Jimmy moved everything on the back. He had put 2 4x8 sides on this old trailer.
Yeah.
Mimi was trying to be cool and come to collaborate with her new
And
neighbors.
I rode in the back with the
And
little
then
light
Papa,
with the red cloth over it.
they said, oh, there come people from Freeport moving into the neighborhood.
I
forgot that.
That's
Oh, Lordy. Boy, I tell you, you could take, oh my, and he wasn't even a country boy, but Papa,
Mm-hmm.
he was a real cowboy.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
He,
drove them doggies.
yeah,
Wow.
he did cow drives
Mm-hmm.
from out past Archer Creek.
Mm-hmm.
And he even, I didn't even know this, but later on he was talking about it, and I said, well, I didn't know anything about that. He even stayed in the bunkhouse all summer,
Wow.
and while he punched cows, and they had a cow drive.
Cowboy.
He was a real cowboy.
Wow, that's interesting.
Hmm.
Well, that's really cool. Okay.
And so then we lived at Catalpa,
Mm-hmm.
and we were over there 11 years, all the way through his high school,
In college.
and then through college.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to prayer walk all of this area. This was woods back in here. And I used to, the only road was Miss Flower over there that they finally opened over there.
Mm-hmm.
And so I prayer walked all back in here.
Mm-hmm.
And so after they started building back in here, this was 93,
Mm-hmm.
then I came by this house and I just walked into, it was open and
Mhm.
it just had the shell, you know. it
Yeah.
just- and it was cool, that wind was coming down that
Yeah.
road like it always was in
Mhm.
Freeport. And all of our rooms were upstairs. There was
Mhm.
4 bedrooms. It was a big house,
Yeah.
but all the bedrooms were upstairs.
Yeah.
And Jimmy and I both had back bedrooms. And that's when I realized that all my bedrooms were upstairs. Then Mamaw had a stroke, and we had to leave, well, then it was her choice to leave her out at Oyster Creek, but I realized I would have had to, I had a really nice craft room.
Yeah.
It was like a sun porch.
Mm-hmm.
And so I came over here and I walked through this and I just envisioned, because this was all open,
Mm-hmm.
no cabinets or
Yeah.
anything. It was just a hall.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went back and I told Jimmy, I said, I found us a one-story house.
Mm-hmm.
And it was amazing.
Yeah.
He said, okay, if that's what you want.
And you've been here ever since. It's a really nice house. I love this house.
I like it too.
It's nice. I like the layout of it because has a nice flow. It's comfortable.
Yeah, and that was called a mother-in-law bedroom.
Mm-hmm. It was way at the end.
And for the first time in my life, my mother said to me, well, Charlie, I am so thrilled for you.
Mm-hmm.
That was the first time I'd ever heard her say
She was happy for you.
And she never got to spend the night here.
Oh.
She wouldn't spend the night with me over in Catalpa because all my bedrooms were upstairs.
Oh, yeah.
And she couldn't get upstairs.
Mm. That's why you should have at least one bedroom downstairs.
Yep. That's why I was
But
saying.
nowadays they always have the master bedroom downstairs.
Yeah, most of them.
Because nobody wants it upstairs. Well, at least here in Michigan, they didn't do that. Mom and Dad had to sleep upstairs.
Marcus loved that backyard. You can,
Oh, yeah.
here, let me have that. I'll do
Well-
it over here.
I think we have a lot of stuff. We've been sitting here for 42 minutes.
Oh, really?
No. Can I look at the meat stuff?
No, I can just put it right here.
But then it'll be,
That's not in my way.
I think we've revisited your whole life.
That
Pretty
wasn't very
much.
much, was it?
Your life?
no.
I don't think my life has been very exciting.
It's interesting because you never know about people's lives until you talk to them about them. And for me,
Yeah.
it's interesting because I've had such a different life growing up in the time period I have. I mean, I've only lived in completely modern society where we
Right.
had,
In a farmhouse,
yeah,
out in the country.
it's really fascinating to
But she
me.
didn't remember that. Did she live out there?
Yeah.
What?
Oh, she was born out there?
I was born in the country, yeah.
Yeah, she
But I
lived
mean, we
there,
didn't-
yeah,
I wasn't.
10 years.
That's my house. I always think of that as like
Seymour Road.
it's my home house. I hated leaving it. I loved that house, but
Well, you
That's for the
really,
best.
you did live in another country house.
yeah, but it wasn't the same for me. But I knew that it wasn't a good house because it had a lot of problems and there were squirrels.
Are
in the
you talking
walls.
about the house?
Seymour Road.
Seymour
Oh,
Road?
Seymour.
Yeah.
Oh, I was thinking about the house in
Carter
Freeland.
Yeah, they only lived there for a little while.
Well, Harrison,
That was Harrison.
he was 18 months.
Yeah,
and
that's
they
right.
moved. Oops, shut up.
But I liked living in the country, but it wasn't the same because I had, everything for me. I had all this. We had indoor plumbing. Even if we did have just one bathroom, we thought that was bad. We didn't have to go
As
to
long as the pump was running.
go in a hole in the ground.
Yeah, as long as the
So-
pump was running.
Right. I think it was a good experience living in the country because it.
I like that house,
Outdoors.
even though that front bedroom, it was bad.
Yeah.
The rooms were so
That's-
small.
That was her room most of her time.
Yeah, after,
Yeah, that was mine.
After,
It was 8 feet by 8 feet. the
Yeah.
room.
Yeah.
I was small, so it seemed plenty big to me.
Yeah, it fit you good.
I had plenty of room to dance in my. I love to dance. I just think about. I left that window open. I never shut that window, so anybody driving by would just see this crazy girl dancing in there. Who knows what I did in there, and everyone could just see what I did. But I didn't think about that. I was a little girl. Who cares? You know,
Yeah,
you
who
don't think
cares?
about
Yeah.
closing the window. I didn't even think I had any curtains.
When we moved down
Some
to
blinds,
the
yeah.
house in Lake Creek,
Mhm.
down in the village, we had, it was a big lot,
Mhm.
really big. And we had a push mower, I'm talking about
Yeah.
not a motor, the push.
Yeah.
Rolling
I think we had one
We
of those.
actually had one,
Yeah. I think
Seymour.
I think I used it once.
And
so she
so
could
that's
mow the yard sometimes.
That's what I mowed my yard with.
Mhm.
And my daddy would pay me 50 cents to mow
Mhm.
that huge lawn.
Mm.
And so one year I ordered a dress. I never will forget it. It was a white, let's see now. It was a white, like a, what kind of material was that? No, I take it back. It had a navy blue dotted Swiss.
Mhm.
Navy blue with the little white dots.
Mhm.
And dotted Swiss.
Mhm.
And then it had a white, like a linen, it wasn't a linen, but a white cotton
Mhm.
cloth skirt. And then there was an overskirt
Mhm.
of the, same as the
Oh,
bodice.
so
And you could wear it
oh, that's
two
cute.
different ways.
That's cute.
And I just thought that was a beautiful dress. But it took me all summer long to pay for that dress.
Yeah.
I think the dress cost $7.
Wow.
And I mowed yard all summer long to pay for that dress. I
Yeah.
love that.
How old are you?
Yeah.
Maybe 10 or 12.
Wow, you were,
You're a hard
you
worker.
like clothes back then too.
But Mother made all my clothes. My mother was a tremendous seamstress.
Mhm.
She's like your mother. She could just take something to look at it
Yeah.
and then just make it for me.
Yeah.
And our clothes were made out of feed sacks.
Yes.
And she always told my daddy, to be sure that when he bought feed, that he'd get 2 sacks that matched. Because I can remember our underwear, our slips, our little dresses,
Mhm.
everything was out of those
Yeah.
feed sacks. And there were flour sacks then that had designs.
Mhm.
And Mother, and she made pillowcases out of those.
Mhm.
Because they bought the flour in sacks about that.
Yeah,
big.
yeah.
And,
Well,
so,
that's cool.
and then she made the pillows out of down
Mhm.
feathers.
Feathers.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And I had a feather bed up when we moved down, and I
Mhm.
had the upstairs bedroom, and it was a big room. There was 2 big rooms on the upstairs, and this was a big house.
Yeah.
And oh my gosh, I thought I was really, I lived on the farm for
Yeah.
so long, and I guess I was 9 when we moved,
Mhm.
and I never had anything like that
Yeah.
ever.
So
And
real.
after the war, my brother bought my mother a living room suit. It
Mhm.
had a couch and
Mhm.
2 chairs, and a bedroom suit.
Wow. So it was a real special.
And he bought me
It's
that
pretty.
doll that's in my doll case.
Which doll?
The Shirley Ann,
What is this?
the princess one that has the turquoise
Oh,
with
yeah.
a real
yeah,
head.
yeah,
He bought me that,
yeah.
and bought my little brother a Lionel train.
Oh, I've seen the commercials for that.
Yeah.
Oh, commercials. They're so cute. Well, I have one more question.
Okay.
What is your favorite memory? That's a hard one. Do you have a favorite memory? Do you think? Are there too many good ones?
Yeah, I have a lot of good memories. I don't remember anything that was favorite when I was
Mhm.
growing up.
Well, just throughout your whole life. I mean, just sometime.
Gosh. 78 years.
Yeah, I know. I knew that. I was like, I don't know, but I just wanted to ask if you had anything that stood out as a good good memory.
Some of the best memories
Mhm.
were at Christmas time when
Mhm.
I had all my family together.
Yeah.
I knew it, that's what I was gonna say.
And everybody was happy,
That was
Yeah.
a good time.
which was a rarity, but the
Mhm.
best times. Last Christmas was special to me,
Mhm.
but especially, whenever
Yeah.
y'all would come home,
Yeah.
come down, and we'd have everybody together.
Yeah.
All the little kids. they were
I
all-
remember one year, this was a special time. All of y'all spent the night. Y'all had come down,
Mhm.
and all of Philip and his family,
Mhm.
except for Beth, and probably Victoria, those two. But four are from Philip,
Mhm.
and you're four, and Rhonda,
Mhm.
and we all stayed here.
Remember the snow?
That was
Yeah.
a special time.
That was what I remember the
Yeah,
most. for
I
Christmas.
It's a
That
blizzard.
That was the best one.
That was funny.
It was the blizzard, it's a blizzard.
It's a blizzard out here.
It wasn't even snowing very.
And it had rained, it had snowed an inch up there.
Phil-
Philip.
No, it was way more
So
down
Philip
here.
said, "Oh, y'all should come up here. It's a blizzard up here."
I wanted to snow again.
And that was so funny, when he got down here, he couldn't believe it. We had 7 inches, and
Yeah.
he could not
I
believe
know,
it.
that was a real
It was a real deal,
real
wasn't
deal.
it?
Yeah, I
That's
understand
one
now.
of my
how-
favorite pictures, is that little picture.
Yeah,
down
it's
there.
such a good picture.
I guess that might have been the best
Mhm.
memory.
It was.
It was a really
Yeah,
good
that's
memory for all of
the-
us. I remember that.
The neighbors would drive by, everybody was honking.
Yeah.
Everybody was really happy because I think things like that bring everybody together, no
Mhm.
matter what.
Yeah.
They just all.
Yeah,
Light
and Beth and Victoria didn't come down.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They never wear their pretty.
They came and visited.
But we're like, well, you're missing out, so yeah. anyway,
Enough said.
yes. Well, that's it.
That was all of it?
Yeah,
78 years.
we were
huh?
here for 52 minutes.
Okay,
I think I'm gonna write something really nice
okay.
about you. I think it would be good.